Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Library. Today, we get to talk about two books, and they're two children's novels, which I am very, very excited to talk about because they're ones that I remember reading as a kid. I did not read these as a teenager or adult, and so I'm really excited to talk about them. So let's go ahead and we'll start off with Star Wars' answer to Goosebumps. We're going to first talk about Star Wars Galaxy of Fear, Eaten Alive by John Whitman. And obviously, I have the nice, I don't know if you can tell here, hologram covers. To my knowledge, I believe a lot of the Galaxy of Fears had hologram covers. Some had standard covers, some had these ones here, where it was like happy and then, oh, he's an alien. So basically, this is a new young adult series that came around this time. It's basically is Star Wars' answer to Goosebumps. Goosebumps became very, very popular in the mid to later 90s. I remember reading them myself as a kid. And so Star Wars was like, hey, let's get in on that action. And we have this. It actually ended up being a pretty fun series. I mean, it's definitely not going to be probably anything that's going to blow your mind, but it's a fun read. So basically, this series introduces us to three of our main characters in that. And that would be Tash and Zach Aranda. They are brother and sister whose home planet was Alderaan, and of course, we all know what happened there. This is after episode 4 when this takes place. And they are with their uncle, Hool, who we find out is a shapeshifter, kind of like a Clawdite, Zam Wessel species. He isn't that, but he is that kind of a species. And basically, he's going around and he's running around and doing studies on different things in the galaxy. And what they find they end up on this planet called, I think it's called devouring, or devouring, ironically, right? So that's where we get the title from, Eaten Alive. The planet is sentient, and it basically is like consuming different things on its surface. And so, oh no, what are they gonna do? Well, you'll have to read to find out. I mean, again, it's a young adult, it's a children's book based like Goosebumps. So I mean, you're looking at what 140 pages in this thing. But let me tell you, it was a fun read. I had a lot of fun with this as a kid. Rereading it as an adult, gosh, I think I was like a senior in college when I went back and reread these, or maybe a junior, I can't remember. But it was a lot of fun. It took me back to when I was a kid. It definitely has that goosebumpy feel where it's trying to be scary, but it's not going to be super scary because it's meant for children. So don't expect, like I don't know, like a Stephen King level of horror or that kind of thing in here. Because again, it is meant for kids. But I mean, it's fun. It's like a milder Death Troopers, which we'll get to eventually. But definitely an enjoyable read. So definitely would recommend that. So our next book is a Young Jedi Knights series, and this actually starts the next arc of that series, and it's also related to Alderaan in some way. Tash and Zach are from Alderaan. Well, we'll talk about Young Jedi Knights Shards of Alderaan here. So this is another, I guess, hologram cover, shiny. I don't know, but anyways, Young Jedi Knights. So as we might have, or if you recall from our last video about that book series, the Shadow Academy had attacked, and now we're moving into the next arc, which is the Diversity Alliance arc. This book doesn't have too much to it. It's kind of like Heirs to the Force in the Shadow Academy arc, where it kind of just sets up the new status quo, and then we go into that more exploring, what the actual arc is going to be. But this one, but it eventually will tie into, but it's kind of, it's very similar beats to Heirs to the Force. But anyways, this one, Jacen and Jaina, and by extension Lobaka and Tenel Ka, basically say, you know what, we're going to go, because it's Leia's birthday. And they're like, yeah, we got to go and we got to get Mom a present. So basically Jaina, or Jacen, I think it's Jaina, has the idea of going to the Alderaan system, or what remains of the Alderaan system, and basically trying to find the a piece of the planet. still floating in space. And I believe they actually obtain the core, or a piece of the core. And so they are, trying to go there. But so there's, obviously reflection on that. And of course, based on the cover, who are they going to run into? Yep, Boba Fett. But it's not actually Boba Fett. I believe, if I recall, it is his, we find out, I think it's his daughter posing as her, or posing as him. It is not the real Boba Fett, as we find. But at the time when I first read it, I thought that it's Boba Fett. And again, Boba Fett. I mean, Boba Fett, just like Darth Vader, he sells. You put him on the cover. I mean, yeah. And I remember as a kid reading this in the school library. I mean, this is what drew me to the book, purely because of Boba Fett being on the cover, as well as the amazing, incredible Dave Dorman artwork. So, it's a fun read. It's the start, like I said, it's the start of the next arc. So it's a little bit slow and feels a little bit disconnected. Again, like I said earlier, similar to Heirs of the Force, they will, in fact, tie it all together by the end of this arc. But I remember when I first read it thinking, this has nothing to do with anything as you go further along into the books. So just be aware of that. Now, to answer the question, are these books here essential? Well, let's start with Galaxy of Fear. Personally, I would say the Galaxy of Fear series is not essential to your EU reading. Like I said, they're fun. They are very products of the 90s. So if you like that era, it is very fun. You like that era of Star Wars. You like that era of pop culture. It gives off those Goosebumps vibes. It very much is a 90s series. So it's up to you. I wouldn't say avoid them, but they are definitely not, crucial pieces of EU for you to read to understand the larger picture. Young Jedi Knights is a different story. If you are, reading the Young Jedi Knights series, if you did the first arc, definitely I would recommend this one. Young Jedi Knights as a whole, I still think is an essential read, just because it does a much better job of really establishing Jacen and Jaina, and then Lobaka and Tenel Ka and Zek and Raynar and several other of Luke's students, who you'll obviously, when you get to big stories like New Jedi Order and Legacy of the Force, and even Raynar, especially with Dark Nest. I mean, it's definitely important for you to do that. So that's why I say Young Jedi Knights is definitely a good one. Like I said, I'll save my thoughts for the whole second arc when we get to it, and then kind of give my thought of the whole series when we come to the end of it. But honestly, though, Kevin J. and Rebecca Moesta just never disappoint me. To me, they just continue to write really good Star Wars fiction. So definitely would say this one's essential. Eaten Alive, it's up to you if you want to or not. But again, it's not an essential read. But folks, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode, and I'll see you next time with another. Until then, may the Force be with you.